Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Youth Destiny Nucleus podcast. In today's video, and in this episode of the Youth Destiny Nucleus podcast for the month of April, we'll be talking on a very exciting topic titled The Role of Character in Achieving Academic Excellence. The role of character in achieving academic excellence. If you're a student at secondary school level, at tertiary level, sit tight, heads up, and get ready for an exciting conversation. Now, the role of character in building academic excellence. Here is one major misconception a lot of young people have, especially students in this context, of course. Most students believe that academic excellence and success is just as a result of how smart one is naturally, how talented one is on a natural basis. But that is simply not the case. From my own personal journey, from my interactions with the best of the best students, I have learned that academic excellence and success is a function of your character more than it is a function of your natural smartness, intelligence, talent, and gifting. Okay, so academic success is more of a character game than it is an intelligence game. Trust me, any day, anytime, I'll take an average student who has character over a smart and an exceptionally gifted student who lacks character. Now, we've thrown around the word character a couple of times. I think it's high time we define character. What is character? Your character simply refers to your distinctive attributes, your moral values that makes you stand out in a crowd. Okay, it's called what? Character. And anytime I get the opportunity to talk to young people, I often tell them that character is like a mother word that has a lot of tiny little babies underneath it. So let's talk about the babies or the kids of the word character. We have number one, discipline. Discipline is the ability to show up and do what is demanded of you, whether you feel like it or not. The ability to do what is required of you as far as your studies are concerned, whether it feels convenient or not. The ability to study one more chapter, the ability to solve one extra exercise question, the ability to solve one extra physics calculation until mastery is obtained is called discipline. Discipline is the first child of character. All right, number two, integrity. Integrity entails doing the right thing even if no one is watching. Doing the right thing even no one is watching. Being trustworthy, okay? Sticking your neck out for what is right. It's actually called integrity, the second child of character. Now, this is getting really interesting. We have a couple others to look at. Number three, we have responsibility. Responsibility entails owning up to your failures, because one of the constants of life are challenges and failures. It takes a responsible student to say, okay, I think I messed up during my preparation phase. I should have been more hardworking. I should have been more consistent. I think I should have, stuck to my reading schedule, reading plan, taking my teacher's advice and instructions more seriously. This attribute called responsibility, the third child, of course, of character, is really critical, is really important for achieving academic excellence. Let's keep going. We have perseverance, number four. The fourth child of character is called perseverance. Perseverance means pushing on regardless of the challenges and the setbacks experienced on your journey to the top. And when I say the top in this context, of course, we're talking about academic success, okay? Becoming an academic weapon, like I would humorously say. So perseverance means, all right, there are challenges in my life. I possibly don't have all the best conditions to be the best I can be, but despite these challenges, I'll stick my neck out and I'll keep pushing. All right, it's called perseverance. The fifth child of character is humility. Humility means keeping a low head even when the achievements begin to show face. The ability to recognize and admit that you do not know everything. It's called humility. Humility is really important for ensuring academic success. We'll talk about that before the podcast comes to a wrap. The sixth child of character happens to be respect. Respect for three categories and for three levels of people. Number one, respect for yourself. Respect for yourself. Now, I remember talking to a small group of students a couple months ago, and I tried to emphasize to them the need for self-care as far as academic excellence and success are concerned. You need to learn how to take good care of yourself, because if you don't take good care of yourself, you burn out, and failure is a consequence. All right, the seventh and the final child or offspring of character will be self-control. The ability to practice delayed gratification. Okay, putting away. I'll define self-control in another light as putting away today's pleasures for tomorrow's outcomes, or for tomorrow's success. Okay, it is called self-control. Now, character is not what you claim to be, but your character is what you consistently practice. Your routines, that's what constitutes your character. Now, how does character drive academic excellence? Let's get a little practical here. How does character drive academic excellence? Number one, we'll pick all of the offsprings of character, and then we'll talk about how they individually influence academic success. All right, first things first. Discipline helps build consistency. Now, I'm talking from personal experience on my journey to achieving academic excellence, as well as my interactions with students who are much smarter and much more successful on the academic front than myself. And trust me when I say this, I've never met an academically sound student who is not consistent with their studies. Now, when we say consistency means showing up as often as you can when it comes to your studies. Reading on a Monday, reading on a Tuesday, reading on a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday, and repeating the cycle again. It's called consistency. For you to become a master of your studies, then you must show up as consistently as you can. All right, we know the saying, practice makes perfect. I found myself telling a small group of students not too long ago that mathematics as a subject is a skill. You want to become, we can liken it to mastering fashion designing as a classic case study. You want to master the art of fashion designing, then you must show up, right? You must show up and practice as hard as you can. So what makes you think you master math when you are not showing up at all? Okay, so discipline, of course, we said showing up even when you feel like it, even when you don't feel like it, right? Without discipline, there is no consistency, and the journey to academic excellence becomes futile. All right, academic excellence cannot be achieved in one day. Like they say, Rome is not built in a day, right? It is built through consistent effort. So when one is disciplined, they study even when they are tired. All right, they avoid distractions, despite the many distractions in our generation today, from social media to, you know, the temptation to go out partying on the weekend instead of locking in and reading. You see that without the factor of discipline, it becomes almost irresistible, right? When a student is disciplined, they follow a reading schedule, all right, and they prioritize their learning over comfort. Number two, we're still looking at how character drives academic excellence. The second way it does that is through this, all right, hard work and perseverance. Hard work and perseverance are actually offsprings of character, and they basically help you overcome challenges. Challenges are a constant in life, just like life and death in themselves are constants of the equation of life. Challenges are equally constant in life. You will never find an academic success that hasn't have to overcome challenges. I actually found myself talking to two very bright students. They have loads of potential engineering aspirants. I try to emphasize to them the need to persevere and to recognize that challenges exist. And I made a very, interesting illustration to them. I said, look, the moment if you see any student shining or any man who is excelling and blazing, basking in greatness, what that actually means is that they are excelling regardless of the challenges in their life. So greatness and success is measured by the magnitude of obstacles and challenges you are able to overcome. Without the factors of hard work and perseverance, trust me, when challenges come, you just throw in the towel and you just say, guys, all right, I've tried my best, let's wrap things up. Okay, so when one has a strong character, they don't quit easily. It's important you understand this. Instead, they seek help where the need arises. Okay, they practice as hard as they can. All right, they strive to keep building and to keep growing on the academic front day in, day out. How does character influence academic success. Point number 3. We said integrity happens to be one of the offsprings of character, right? So integrity helps protect true success. And earlier we said that integrity entails doing what is right because it is part of your value system, your makeup, not because of eye service or because you want someone else to think you are good. All right. So integrity preserves true success. Whenever I have a conversation with someone and it leads to this issue of success, I try to ask them what exactly they mean by success, because success, if you ask me, is one of the most subjective concepts in life. To a businessman, for example, success could mean how much profit he makes off of his sales. Okay, to a teacher, success could mean how well or how brilliantly their students perform. To a student preparing for JAMB or a student that has written JAMB exam, success is a function of how high they score. So success is actually subjective. And at Youth Destiny Nucleus, we define success as fulfilling one's purpose in life. All right. And in the academic context now, success means the ability to reproduce excellence on a consistent basis. So there is true success, and then there is the shortcut kind of success that only brings temporary joy. All right. True success comes with satisfaction and fulfillment, right? Let's get that out of the way. So cheating an exam malpractice can bring you temporary results and success, but in your mind, somewhere right there in your mind, you know that, okay, I had to cheat to do this, and this is not really my result. One of the exams you find students cheating in the most is actually the West African Examination Council exam, right? And you find a lot of students with distinctions in math and English and chemistry, and they can't really defend those grades because they did so through some cut corner methods. But a student who has character and who has integrity will work hard, will stay consistent and persevere, and of course they write the exam and they pass, they excel. And not just that, they achieve true success, defendable success. I believe we're all on the same page. So a student with integrity avoids exam malpractice. They do assignments and tasks as honestly as they can. Okay, they earn results that they can confidently defend. How does character influence academic success? Point number 4, we're looking at responsibility and its connection, its link to academic success. Responsibility improves academic performance. Now, when we say responsibility under this context, we are actually talking about the ability to admit and take responsibility, take ownership for one's learning. So a responsible student, instead of blaming a bad teacher, blaming circumstances, blaming parents for not being there for them, they take ownership. Instead, they re-engineer their mindset and they prepare ahead. If there's another exam coming up, they try to sit down and think, okay, where did I go wrong in my preparation towards the previous exam that led to either a mediocre score or a failed score? So they begin preparing ahead, trying to adapt and correct the mistakes they made in the previous exam. That is responsibility for you. So a responsible student, instead of complaining, they prepare ahead, they strive to meet deadlines, they attend classes as regularly as they can, they try to manage their time as efficiently and as properly as they should. Number 5, humility. We're looking at how character influences academic excellence, right? Humility, the ability to admit when one does not know everything. Okay, so humility helps foster a culture rather of continuous learning. Okay, there are no barriers for someone who is humble. Trust me, the most outstanding students you'll find out there, they don't really care what you have to say about them. All I want to know more. I want to be better. If the knowledge I want is in the hands of my inferior, my junior, I will humble myself and ask questions. It's as simple as that. Never be too proud to seek advice and to adapt them into your learning habit so you can improve. Number 6, self-control helps students avoid distractions. There are more than 1 billion distractions in our world today, from the gadgets, social media, TikTok and Facebook to all of that. If you lack the self-control factor, then you will just be average at best. Now, many students in our generation today fail not because they are dull. Trust me, when you look at the statistics, it's obvious to see that majority of young people today do not really have that passion for learning. But do not for a moment interpret that as a lack of intelligence. We are one of the most intelligent generations you ever find. Trust me, I interact with students every now and then, and their IQs are sharp, very high. They are smart, intelligent, brilliant. So you begin to ask yourself, what is the reason for the mediocrity? What is the reason for the failure? Despite this level of smartness, and there comes the problem of lack of self-control. So a student who lacks self-control will be on social media when they are supposed to be studying their chemistry. They would fall for peer pressure, be lazy about their studying, and you see, with these limitations, they can't really reach the peak or the heights of their academic achievements. Now, why is character? All right, I believe before we even get into this, it's important that I emphasize this. Character is a billion times much better than just mere smartness and academic intellect. Like I said at the introductory part of this video, I will take an average student who has character over a brilliant, a naturally intelligent student who lacks character any day, in a heartbeat, in a split second. That is not even a debate. So what does that tell us? That tells us that character is more important than talent and normal academic smartness. So academic success is more of, I've learned this from personal experience, by the way, academic excellence is more of a character game than it is an intelligence game. For those of you who are aspirants of courses like medicine and surgery, I try to tell them every chance I get that a career or a course like medicine and surgery is no respecter of your natural gifting and your IQ. I mean, I've heard stories and I've seen firsthand stories of students who get admission to study medicine and surgery, and in their 100 level, they rack up a perfect CGPA, a 5.0 CGPA, only to get withdrawn in 200 level or in 300 level. So you begin to ask yourself, what is the problem here? So you want to make sure you focus on building and developing your character over just holding on to your talent and your gifts. You remember the quote, right? Hard work beats talent when talent refuses to work hard, and hard work, perseverance, offsprings of character. Now, why is character more important than talent? We'll look at a few reasons and we keep moving. A student may be naturally intelligent, but without good character, number one, they become inconsistent, lack of consistency. And without consistency, excellence is unattainable. Number two, they waste their potential. Potential is untapped resources, unmaximized abilities. We call that potential. Potential is just like raw materials or like the ingredients for a meal. These ingredients have to be cooked with discipline, consistency, right? So when there's an absence of character, potential is wasted. And a student that lacks character, on the other hand, they fall behind even those who are not even as gifted as they are. But a student that has an average ability but has a strong character can reach very ridiculously high heights on their academic journey. So what are some practical ways students can build strong character? Now, practical ways in which we can build strong character. Please, this is really important. It's really important that we pay attention at this point of our conversation. Number one, I would say set clear goals. I remember instructing some of my students during the preparation phase of their JAM to write down the scores that they wanted in their JAM and paste them on the wall of their room. That way, every morning when you get up, you're looking at your goals. There is power in visualization. When you visualize, your mind is activated towards the accomplishment of that given goal. So setting clear goals focuses your energy and your attention, fine-tunes your mindset towards the achievement of those goals. Number two, follow a daily routine. Follow a daily routine. I've never met an excellent student who doesn't have a daily routine, a daily timetable, a daily schedule. They know when they are supposed to be studying, how they are supposed to be channeling their energy part-time. All right, practical ways students can build strong character. Number three, surround yourself with like-minded friends. Surround yourself with like-minded friends. Someone made a very hilarious quote a few months ago. I think I read that somewhere. He said, if you look around your friendship cycle and you count 5 fools He said to count again, there are really 6 fools, and you are the 6th, right? So what that's trying to say is that like minds flock together. Okay, birds of a feather flock together. If you are an aspiring distinction student, you can't keep students who don't really care about their academics. Let them find like-minded people as they are. Okay, the danger of staying connected or affiliated with these average mindset people is that mindsets are actually contagious. If someone doesn't care when they fail, you begin to imbibe that same mindset over time, and before you know it, you are either below average or even a failure entirely. So you want to make sure you surround yourself with at least a minimum of 3 friends who are much smarter than you, more organized than you are on the academic front. That way, a mindset of continuous learning and growth is developed. A culture of learning is actually imbibed. Practical ways to build a strong character. Number 4, learn to delay gratification. Learn to delay gratification. We've spoken about self-control and discipline, right? Delayed gratification simply entails putting away the pleasures of today for tomorrow's results and accomplishments. You will never find a successful man who doesn't practice delayed gratification. If you're the kind of person who wants to flex now, you want to chill now, you want to have all the fun now, the consequence of that, especially when you are young, is that in your later years, when you're supposed to be reaping the many benefits of your discipline at this level of your life, you have to get to work and start sweating it out to see how you can, connect the dots in your life. So it's now or never. Just think of it in that way. It is now or never. One practical way we can look at delayed gratification is through savings and investments. Let's say someone gifts you 100,000 naira and you are still in secondary school, and you decide that you are going to carve out 20,000 naira and put it in your saving box, or save it on Cowrywise or Piggyvest or something like that. The consequence of that is that you have 20,000 naira less to spend and enjoy now. But do you know the plus with that? The plus is that you have 20,000 more to spend tomorrow and in the future. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So if you really want to reach the heights of academic excellence and you want to develop and build a solid character, you must learn to delay gratification. Delay gratification, and as well as, I believe this is linked with the discipline factor. Delayed gratification keeps you up at night, solving that extra physics calculation, balancing that extra chemical equation, solving that extra mass and volume relationship calculation problem, studying that extra chapter of your Ganong physiology textbook, studying that extra chapter of your Vasudevan or Lippincott biochemistry. You strive for excellence. You suffer now so you can, be accomplished and be excellent and successful in the near future. Another practical way you can build a strong character is by practicing honesty. Okay, practicing honesty. Honesty entails that, let's just put it this way for ease of understanding, being honest about where you are at. If you really want to solve a problem, you must begin by identifying or acknowledging the existence of that problem. That's where honesty comes to play. I actually worked with a student a couple of months ago, and very bright students, had a lot of potential to excel, but one of the areas that they had issues with is the communication area. They struggled to honestly, number one, admit their deficiencies. How much do you not know? It's really important that you imbibe this as well. You be honest about your level of ignorance so work can be done to ensure that you excel. Finally, the final practical guide towards building a solid character I'll be sharing in this podcast is embrace correction and improvement. Embrace correction and improvement. Trust me, a lot of bright young lads have lost out entirely simply because they lacked the humility to embrace correction so they can improve. This is a singular trait, a singular characteristic that can refine your success, or on the other hand, if not exercised appropriately, can stand as a blockade preventing you from maximizing your academic potential. So in conclusion, academic excellence is not just a natural gift, talent, or smartness game. True academic excellence is more of a character game than it is a natural IQ game. True academic excellence is a product of character, the discipline to show up when no one is there to cheer you on, even when you don't feel like it. You show up consistently, the perseverance to keep pushing despite the challenges and the setback you experience in your life. Having the humility to admit that you do not know everything. All of these singular traits we discussed in today's podcast are priceless towards ensuring that you reach the heights of your academic potential. Thank you so much for sticking with us to this very moment of our video. If you are new here, please do us a favor and hit on the subscribe button, turn on the post notification bell. That way you get notified every single time we drop a new video. Also, do well to share with your friends. This is the best YouTube channel for the average student, aspirant of medicine and surgery, engineering, law. This is your best bet. Do well to share with your friends, like and comment, and also anticipate the release of subsequent podcasts. We have loads of exciting conversations, and some distinguished guests would also be invited to the podcast subsequently. Thank you once again for sticking with us at Youth Destiny Nucleus. Of course, we operate on 4 basic value standpoints: purpose, character, young talent development, and academic excellence. Thank you so much, and catch you guys in the next video.